What is up, everybody? Okay, I'm only slightly scuffed. Hold on. No. There we go. Okay, we're all good. Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Andrew Esquire, American attorney over here in Asia. And this is a live. We're doing it live here today, guys. I know it's really early in the U.S., so I know it's a different time here. But I wanted to get this one out tonight and do a little live because we have little Phase Connect stuff. I have a fast facts on the Powdur model situation, and that'll be out after this one. But I want to just talk about the Phase Connect stuff because I think I've been very, very charitable to Phase Connect, and I have, a reaction to this situation, and I think it's merited at this point. I'm very understanding on the corporate side. I really, really am. But there comes to a point where you gotta comment on some stuff. So we're gonna talk about Phase Connect. We're gonna talk about Powdur and her model situation. I've got a PP for you on that one. So don't worry. I'm gonna whip that PP out. And thank you, Crimson Splat and Doug Diaz, both gifting 5 Legal Mindset memberships. If you receive one of those, please say thank you for all the based cabbages.
Emotional cabbage.
Yes.
Bit of lag there, but we got it, boys. We're here. Only a slight scuff, but good to see it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that, and welcome everybody who's here today. It's good to see everybody who's in the house for some VTuber action. I never forget about my VTubers, and I know I've summoned to the realm of VTubing, and I have to answer that call. So let's start with Phase Connect. Let's start with having Phase Connect. Okay, so 2 things happen with Phase Connect. The first is, and we'll put up the actual announcements here so you guys see that. The first one is an announcement. This was one that came up earlier in the day. Thank you for supporting Phase Connect. Recent comments made on Twitter by one of our talents included discussion on sensitive issues. Following an internal review, these comments were taken down. We sincerely apologize for any issues caused by this incident. Phase Connect's focus has been and always will be on providing entertainment through different personalities and a wide range of unique content. We do not tolerate racism, hatred, or bigotry in our communities. Thank you for understanding your continued support of Phase Connect and our talents. Also, I will say thank you for your support of my channel, Tank Rat, with 50 Legal Mindset memberships.
Yes.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Thank you. And if you like that, please make sure you, if you received a membership, please say thank you to Tank Rat for that. That's a giant membership, and he's been a long-time supporter. So thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Love you. And appreciate the support. Roasted Dad said, first time catching a stream. Love the content. Keep it up. My pleasure. Thank you. And hope you're interested in VTubing stuff as well. That's what we're into today. We have a lot of different topics to cover, though, I guarantee. And Johnny Somali is actually going to come up soon, too. So that's another one coming up. Professor Keen says, I'm awake early and I don't have coffee. Let's go. Actually, I forgot my water here, so I'm waterless right now. Oh, but Moodang does have a new hat. Hold on. We have to pause the show here real quick. I got this one yesterday. It's such a cool hat. I mean, like, it's so cool. Look at how cool this hat is. It's so cool. This hat is so cool. It's just like all tagged up, super cool. I love the art on it. And like the quotes, some of the quotes are really badass, right? Super cool hat. Love it for Moodang. Love their style. She's really street today. So thank you. Thank you, anybody donating to the Hat Squad, the Hat Fund. We're going to be getting some. I'm going to go to a actual big mall that has a lot of hats. But I got that one on a road stand. So that one was really nice. Wicked hat. Lewis Callie, 8617, member for 13 months, says, I've been up since 2:30 a.m. Central with a sick kid. I'm sorry to hear that. Running on minimal sleep and caffeine. Let's go, I guess. Well, thanks. I'll pray for your kid, but hope you're all right. Reverend Norse for Honor Swedish Krona said, seeing Clara leave now so long as her misstep and soon after Jelly's uncontroversial tweet asking to keep politics out of Minecraft seems like extreme corporal behavior. Sad phase went that way. Yeah, here's the next part. So you spoiled part 2, which is fine because we're going to get there anyways. So this comment was about the one about that I just read to you, about somebody leaving, there's discussion of sensitive topics. All this was Jelly saying that she didn't want politics in Minecraft, essentially. So this was essentially a single VTuber saying they didn't want politics in Minecraft, and that was too much for FaZe Connect, apparently. Also, though, you had Asmin reacting, I think, to this situation and calling out Clara, and then shortly after, Clara gets announced to graduate. Announcement of Kaminari. Clara, thank you for supporting FaZe Connect. She will graduate on the 28th of February, 2026. She'll be concluding her regular activities. She'll be inactive on the March 1st, and her channel will remain available till the 31st of March. So Clara is gone. Now, a lot of people will say Clara was on the way out anyways, and she really hadn't been streaming that much anyways, and she was, gonna go, blah blah blah. Maybe this just expedited what was gonna happen anyways, right? So I think maybe that might be a thing, but obviously this draws comparison because there were comments made by Clara after the Charlie Kirk incident, and those were essentially let's say just looked past, whereby you're getting on Jelly's case for making a comment about not wanting politics in games. And I'm with the Birdman on this. My man Parrot, he had a really good comment on this, so I'm gonna read this. I love this comment. This is so good. From Parrot. My brother in Christ, through the last 3 years of my time here, I have seen and collected so many clips from FaZe talents that go from equal to way worse than what Jelly said in that tweet. Back then, you took no public action against them. This is fucking FaZe Connect, for fuck's sake. I feel like this tweet comes from from a different reality. Me too. Because I would never expect that the FaZe I know would ever do something like this. Complaining about political slop in a game isn't even racist. Absolutely stand for that. 100%. Just looking at, crap that you see in a game and speaking the truth, like absolutely the truth, like said right there, just saying the truth. That's not a crime. That's not a sin. That's not illegal. It's not going to make you lose advertisers, right? That's not going to destroy your brand. It's you're pulling the trigger on something that I don't think you needed to pull the trigger on. And I don't know what sort of influence there was that made that, but I don't think how could that be significant? I really don't see that from a corporate counsel standpoint. Hackfish WS says FaZe Connect is metaphorical like Titanic that just now struck the iceberg. Uncle Mine said the ship doesn't immediately sink. No, but it's headed in the wrong direction. And look, if you love somebody, look, let's say they're a friend. You tell them, hey, course correct, pull up, you're doing the wrong things. If I do the wrong things, I have really good friends that tell me you're doing the wrong thing. And sometimes I don't listen to them at first. And sometimes it takes me a little bit of time to listen to them and say, you know what, you were right. But the friends of FaZe Connect, the people that love FaZe Connect, are saying this is wrong. And I think they should listen to the people that love FaZe Connect and are saying, like, you're doing the wrong thing here. You need to pull up, and this is not the direction you want FaZe to go in. FaZe was in a good direction when it was headed, when it was headed in the more unhinged direction, right? That tended to be better. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on this. Essentially, and somebody brought this up right here, and this is a pretty good point, that what they did by throwing her under the bus is almost slandering her, because to say that she committed bigotry or racism or any of those things without actually backing that up and without any proof that she did that is essentially slandering her and essentially saying, like, hey, don't advertise with this person, don't go with this person, don't sponsor this person because this person has expressed racist views, bigoted views, etc., when she hasn't, right? Now that'd be a very difficult case for defamation, right? And once again, it'd be very complicated to go against your own company. But I think it really does throw that particular VTuber under the bus, right? It really does. Oyamada for 5 said, what are the chances that the Canadian politics is affecting FaZe? Their lawyer responded to protect the future of FaZe from Canadian retaliation. Maybe that could be it. That could be it. Maybe they're really considering Canadian politics and like the wings of Canadian politics, and maybe this is the problem with FaZe being a Canadian company. And I mean, this could be the underscore of it. I don't know whether that's true or not. You're issuing, this is speculation. This is not Legal Minds that's saying it's for sure, but is it possible? Is that a theory of the case that could be possible? Yes, it absolutely could. It absolutely could. And I think Sakana needs to go back and definitely not just review this, but think about retractment of that statement and reissuing a different statement, or just deleting that statement, and allowing the speech to continue, because I think free speech is a good thing. And, you know, you're going to want that on both sides of the aisle, right? And if you said that what Clara says was free speech, then you sure as hell need to defend what Jelly said is free speech. Sorry, right? If that was what you stood on before, and you stood on the fact that what Clara said about Kirk was free speech, then you sure as hell need to stand on that for Jelly. And that's just not being fair to your your contractors, right? Because we're in this contractual relationship, right? That's not treating each of them equally, right? In their contractual relationships. So that's what I think is going on there. But it's very unfortunate, because I like FaZe, I like the Manhara girls. And I think they do, you know, a lot of them are really hardworking and do a good job. And there's a lot of good clips that have given me like happiness from FaZe. So I hate to see the company go that way. All right. It may be related to FaZe, to FaZeCon being in California. Well, the brain rot can get to you. The brain rot can get to you. It can. Let's read this one here. Yamato Man said, could Clara graduation, Jelly's reprimand, be tied to the results of an internal struggle, like an internal conflict resulting from a compromised dual outcome? Yes, there could be inside the company kind of a fight going on. And this might be something where they kind of resolve the fight by saying, hey, look, you know, you did this, and you know, so we're just going to end this argument about Clara said this and got away with it, with, okay, well, she's just going to go. And that just makes it easier because she's just gone. Right. Let's see here. I want to read this one. It's not one. Okay. Americanizing the issue. Half the people yelling at Jelly are like she's racist and this and that, but she's not. She's from Southeast Asia, so none of those labels apply. That's very true. That is very true. I will say, but you know, a lot of people don't even look into where people are from. And they don't even say like, okay, is this person really racist? They just rush to call them racist, right? So that is a very, very, very big problem with a lot of people on the internet, is they don't even look into who the people are, or where they are, or what they're doing, or whether or not they actually have these intent. They just run out there and say that because that's what people say on the internet. And, you know, there's people out there that are deranged. I'm not going to say all the deranged V-tweeters. We know their names, people. We know their names, right? Some of them really don't like me, right? Some of them are always looking for a point to.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
But you know, at the end of the day, I'm just giving them the analysis that an internal lawyer would give them. So I'm just giving the analysis from, if I was FaZe's attorney, I would say you really need to retract that statement. And I would say that's just out of a perception that it might be slanderous or defamatory or damage the reputation of Jelly, which is completely unmerited at this point. I would retract. I would say issue a retraction or delete it. Right. That's just what I would do. And I just don't think that was a great move. So there we go on that. That's that. Let's get into Powdur. Right. So, okay, we got Powdur over here. And her model business, which was originally what got me into this. This is actually a legal topic. So yeah, Powdur right here. She does follow me, so that's going to get me. People are going to say I'm biased. We also have 666 people in the chat right now. So let's trigger our demon time and get into this. So we got Powdur here. You know, you can see she tweets out some edgy stuff. We got a little mustache band up here. You know, we got some. I think we got some Fed posting down here. You know. We got a lot of interesting stuff here. Nice commissar though, bro. I like that. And certainly she said some spicy things. Okay. She said some spicy things. Okay. We're on 668 now. We're all right. Eight's fine. Yeah, you know, reposting kids on Roblox, conducting ice raids, right? all that good stuff. I think getting featured by Asman over here. And where was the post? There's a post here with 2.5 million views. And reposting some pro ICE stuff, right? She's got Fed friendly elf department over there. A lot of Fed posting over here by let's see if this is a good one. Let's play this one. Let's see which this one is.
If I were to read a political book, it would probably be Minecraft. Yeah, Minecraft. Yeah, if I were to read a book about politics, it would be Minecraft. If I were to read a political book, it would probably be Minecraft.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Nothing wrong with that one. Nothing wrong with that one. That one's allowed. That one's allowed. But she's done some stuff out there. She said some spicy stuff. And because she said some spicy stuff, some people don't. Sorry. I got another good one here. Here's another good one she posted. Hold on. This would piss people off. Let's show this one here. Let's show this one here. You, elf wife or they them sugar baby. We all know which way you go. You all go elf wife. Like you do not go they them sugar baby. Sorry, do not do that, guys. Do not do that. Right? Do not do that. Always go elf wife. Always choose elf wife. Let's see. Lewis Cali says a buddy has a food truck and keeps politics out of his work. During a Friday current thing protest, he chose to remain open, and they went into the comment section and harassed him for pushing a stance. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That's nuts. Like just yeah, that is just crazy. It's just like you're just choosing to operate your business, you know. Martin Kafka 9510 for 200 check Chrono. I like FaZe Talents. We'll continue to watch them and support them, but not FaZe as a whole, and that's fine. And no one. I'm not advocating for boycotting or anything else. I'm just telling you about the direction that I see, and it's not good. Even if Sakana didn't write that post, he's CEO and thus the responsibility lies with him. I do not need Kurosanji Mark III. Yeah, the buck stops with the CEO. At the end of the day, the CEO is there to take the responsibility. And unless they're gun run and they want to try to deflect from everything, right? Yeah, we haven't forgotten about that gun run. I haven't forgot about your gun run. The buck stops with the CEO. So the CEO has to take responsibility for their actions or failures, etc. And if the company is going down a route, that at some point the CEO signed off on that, right? Armando Limon 7465 says walking down the street the other day and Johnny is still holding Hank's pocket. We'll be just covering that. The updates are mostly to get you guys up to date on the facts. And I think it's very important to do a Somali update because there's a lot of misinformation right now. I've seen like 3 or 4 other videos running severe misinformation on the Johnny Somali case. One of them by a very big YouTuber. I'm going to call him out when on the stream, but you know, he's saying 31 years in jail, which is ridiculous. The max is 12 and 6 months. So they're people at this point are just trying to farm Johnny for clickbait, and they're trying to farm it. And at the certain point, you have to be accurate. And what people are doing is not. And I will call out even Old Atozi, because Old Atozi, I love him, and he knows the time is wrong, and he's doing it intentionally for clickbait, right? Which is fine. People are still going to click, right? At the end of the day, people are going to click. But I think there's a point at which you know it's wrong and you're doing it anyways that it becomes wrong, right? So that's why I want to be collecting that. And some people said the name in the chat, right? I see you guys. You guys are smart. You guys are smart. Whatever happened to Gun Run's vagrancy? I think all that's still pending, from what I understand. I would have to circle back and double check, but I'm pretty sure he filed for personal bankruptcy, but that's not going to necessarily get him out of the veil being pierced. I think there's some behind the scenes stuff going on and some mandatory mediation going on, and that's what's holding them up. Okay, so let's get into Powder here. I've got a PP here, and I've got everything you guys need to know about this model fiasco. And this is super important for the VTubing community. Super important for the VTubing community. So obviously at Powder, you got an elf VTuber here on Twitch. I like this. This was a fan art of her as an ICE agent. I like this one. It was nice. It was nice. Good ice agent there. Got rice banana over there. All classic stuff. And then, of course, you have the plaintiff's Kokoda, Shali's Kokoda. I'm not sure where they're located. I don't think it's in the same place as Powder. People keep saying this is international, but I don't know exactly the jurisdiction of Shali's Kokoda. But I think they're not in the same country, right? I think they're not in the same country. So I think they're in different countries, like China, Japan, somewhere, but Taiwan, I don't know. They're somewhere, right? So these guys made the models. The Shali's team, which is 4 people, they made the model for Powder, okay, or they created the model and the model system, I guess, and all the elements for the model. Powder made statements supporting ICE, right? And Shali's wants to stop use of the model and delete all previous material using the model. Okay? So not just to stop using the model, but to delete all previous material using it. That is massive. I mean, for a VTuber, imagine that they've got all these streams that they've been doing for months with this model, and now you've got to go back and delete all of them because they say so. And we're going to read their statements. Now, I want to point out how hypocritical this is, because originally on January 20th, they had the correct statement. So the Shali's team on the 20th, we're at 777, by the way, now, guys. So now we're heavenly. Now we're good. On the 20th of January, the Shali's team had the right attitude. So they said, we merely provide the model and are not responsible for the statement made by any individual users. The Shali's team stands for peace. So their original statement was what they should have had the gumption, the gumbo, the balls, the whatever you want to say, the ovaries to stand with. I don't care what it is. They needed to have some fortitude, right? They had that at one point and they lost it, right? They had a correct defensible position, which is we just provide the model and we're not responsible for the statements made by users. That's what they should have stood by. So this statement they made on the 20th, totally legit. And they should have stayed by this one and totally defensible. Alexis Artemis Greenhower the first, welcome as member for 7 months, or thank you for the member chat. Baziwan 9407 says, this seems like a pen maker demanding Powder stop writing naughty words with the pen she bought. Exactly. It's a product. And the big thing here today is, in the big legal lesson we're going through, is products versus services. And we're going to teach everybody what's a product and what's a service, because apparently some people on the internet are so stupid they don't know the difference between a product and a service. And I get a little enraged about this, because they're trying to make up some complete BS about some sort of ongoing duty to the community, right? Oh, we have this duty to the community. Ooh, no, that's not something you're providing for pay, for compensation, right? The community is not compensating you for this duty, right? And that doesn't interfere with your individual private transaction with someone, right? Your individual feelings about the community cannot void an existing agreement that's already been fulfilled. It's already been done. The agreement's already happened. You've already provided the model. And let's get into their statement, because this is so stupid. And I am going to read this, guys. It's going to take a little bit, but it's important to read this thing, because it is a whopper, and I can't read this thing without stopping sometimes. So I'm going to go through this and kind of blow this thing up. A message from the Team Shali's to our community. First, for those who may not know us well, Team Shali's is a 4-person independent creative team. We are not a company. In fact, let me go side by side on this, because it's small anyways, so it's hard to see, no matter what. we are not a company or a corporation. Well, of course you aren't, because if you're a corporation, you might have a legal department to deal with this. And this is not a responsible legal department. It's somebody who Googled what's going on and, didn't even get a good Google answer. Liz Meta is a passion project and we built from the ground up and has now served over 1,400 creators. And we're generally grateful to from every one of you. We want to take a moment to address some recent discussions and share where we stand. Our model is not a conventional digital product. It functions as your virtual identity, your face online. When viewers see your avatar, they naturally associate it with the creator behind the technology. Okay, well, I hate to break it to you, but that still is a product. Even an identity is still a product, right? A virtual identity is still a product. If you are selling it, and there's no ongoing duty to maintain that quote unquote face online or virtual identity, that is called a product, because you are not going and servicing that product. That product is not something that you have to provide constant service on and you have to constantly go back and improve it. No, the model is generated and you're done, right? So anyways, let me continue. This means that our model is used in the commercial context directly reflects on our brand and, more importantly, on the entire community of creators that share this ecosystem. Recently, we received feedback from multiple users, once again, not saying how much, expressing concern that certain commercial content created with our model was negatively affecting the community's perception and atmosphere. We take this feedback seriously. As the original creators and rights holders, they're not the rights holders. They transferred those rights when they sold the product, right? Their right to the product is gone, right? So that's done. We believe our responsibility goes beyond simply selling a product. No, it does not. We have an inherent obligation, no, they do not, to protect the creative ecosystem. What the hell does that even mean, right? What the hell is the creative ecosystem? What does that even mean? That all of our users are a part of. And how do you have this obligation? Who's paying you for this obligation? Where is this obligation in contract? Show me that. None of that makes any sense. This is not about adding new rules after the fact. It's about upholding a principle that exists in any creative licensing relationship. No, it doesn't. Commercial use of someone's original art should not cause harm to the creator's brand or fellow authorized users. That's not true at all. That is absolutely 100% complete legal bullshit. Does not exist at all. If you have a license to use something, right, that is revocable, that's one thing. But if you delivered a product, you purchased a product, that's different. This is not something that you would typically license out, because there's no ongoing relationship. There's no need for ongoing maintenance, etc., right, with that license, right? It's like they're trying to rent a model, right? That wasn't the agreement to begin with. It was structured as a purchase, right? So because it was structured as a purchase, not a rent-a model, right, where you're going to turn that model back in after a certain period of time, or a lease of a model where you're going to lease that out and turn it back in, that's not what we have here. And by the way, I'm going to say this too, guys, beyond the enforceability argument, any company, let me go big for this one. Any company out there, VTubers and people aspiring to be VTubers, any company that attempts to frame your model as anything other than 100% your property, you should not purchase from. Let me say that one more time. If any company, artist, or whatever is trying to say that the model is anything but 100% your property, you should not purchase for them. Not just boycott. For your safety, you should avoid that company, right? For your PR, for all the other issues, you should not purchase from that company. So what I'm saying is, if this company is attempting to say that, which is what they look like here, I would not purchase from them. I would not purchase my VTuber model whenever that happens, right? I would not purchase my VTuber model from these people because of the way they structure this. I just wouldn't, right? Because they're trying to make this into something that it's not. And that a VTuber model inherently should always be the property of the VTuber. And the only times when it isn't are when you're in a corpo, and you're part of a corporate structure. And that is what you sign up when you're with the corporation. And I will say that's part of the corporation problem, right? We all know that. But outside of the corpo, you really shouldn't be doing that. And we know the issues with corpos. We talk about that all the time. For 500 Swedish krona, thank you so much. Didn't Powdur buy her model? Yeah, did she lease it on some sort of subscription? No, there was no lease agreement here. If she bought, and I read the old terms and I read the new terms. There's no lease agreement here. If she bought it, they have to say they have no say in what she used the product for. Exactly. Lots of companies have terms of service that try to infringe on end user after purchase. Sadly, they try to, but it's a product at the end of the day. And I'm sorry, you cannot do that. It's no. Michael Turner 9498, Louis Rossman intensifies. That's right. It's like you could do what you want to do with it, and that's the freedom that you should have with your model. And I'm sorry, like I'm artists will say, "Oh, you're being mean to me." Sorry, artists, grow up. You need to be aware. And guess what? Mudang demands sacrifice. Mudang's cool with it as well. If you're an artist and you have a problem with somebody's politics, like let me give an example. Let's say that you're a Christian artist. We're going to flip this because this is something that was ice anti-ice. Let's say you're a Christian artist and the VTuber is like VTubering like Moloch or Beelzebub or some sort of demon you don't like. Although, let me get out there and say, I like the demon girl VTubers. I think they're really cute. Okay. I'm okay with demon girl VTubers. I think God will forgive me for liking demon girl VTubers. Okay. But that said, demon girls aside, let's say you didn't want to make a demon art, right? You didn't want to do that. The point at which you to do that is before you do the sale. Okay. Like if you didn't like their Slanesh, because you're a devout servant of the emperor, right? What you do is you do your background check on them and you just say, no, I don't want to do this, or no, I don't like your politics beforehand. And you just don't sell it to them. And that's fine. You just say, I'm not going to make this sale. And if you are too lazy to do that, or you don't care to do that, then that's on you. And there's no takesies, backsies. And you've got to stick with your original statement saying, we don't control what they do with their model. Sorry. Sorry. Let's continue. We want to be transparent. We are a small independent team of 4. This is our first time navigating this situation. And we acknowledge that our initial communication could have been handled more carefully. We are a small team of 4, not a legal department. Clearly, they don't know the law. As we're learning as we go, and we appreciate your patience as we work to get this right. Well, they've clearly gotten it wrong. However, the core concern remains valid. Multiple users reached out with genuine concerns, and we had a responsibility to address them. They don't. And that's the key there. That is the key. You do not have a responsibility to answer to the concerns of people who may not even pay for your product. And even if they do pay for your product, they've already bought your product. What are they going to request a refund on their VTuber models? They're not going to actually do that. You're answering to a mob that probably won't even have any consequences. So this is the thing. Like, okay, you got bullied on Twitter. Like honestly, most of the people in your Twitter that are negative, I find this on a constant basis, are not your followers, are not people you should even care about. They're random people. They're random accounts on the internet that you'll never see again. They come in to drop one hate comment and they bounce, right? And a lot of them are just like burner accounts. So it doesn't even matter in most cases. So let's continue here. We're also aware that some of our authorized users have recently been receiving negative comments discouraging others from purchasing or using our model. Oh, look at that. So people are now discouraging them from using their model, and they're suffering consequences. We want to clarify. Our concern has never been about controlling anyone's personal opinions. As acknowledged above, our initial communication in this matter was not handled as carefully as it should have been. To be clear about our actual position, what we seek to manage is how our creative work is used in commercial context, not what anybody personally believes or says through their own channels. That's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. They're trying to, let me read this one more time so you guys can understand the brain. Like, I'm going to use a word I got from watching a More Pegasus video, but the brain worms, right? Here. What we seek to manage is how our original creative work is used in commercial contexts, not what anyone personally believes or says. Okay, let me understand this. So they're interpreting that as essentially the same thing, because every VTuber is going to be making money on their platforms. So they're saying that, okay, your commercial context is pretty much your complete use of the model, right? Because all VTubers are going to be able to monetize at some point, or they're going to be able to argue that you could monetize on X, on YouTube, on Twitch. Even if you couldn't, they can argue that's a commercial context. So that can apply to anybody. Commercial context is every VTuber. Because unless you're literally doing a private VTubing just for yourself, you're just like literally on and you're just streaming to yourself, right? They're going to be able to argue it's a commercial context. So that is everybody. And they want to manage, which means control. They want to control what you say. To manage something is to control it, right? Even if you're just slightly influencing it, to manage it is to control it. They do want to control what you personally believe and what you personally say, because you don't have a right to believe certain things, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, my mod just telling me we've got a death threat. That's fun. It's always fun to get death threats, right? Because people want to manage what you say by threatening your life. That's always great. Genji Shim 5014 says, Powdur is awesome. Elf wives deserve all love. They do. Say hi to Moodang for me. Yeah, Moodang's doing good. She's got a new hat. Just so you guys see, new hat. I got this for her. She's looking cool today. She's looking really cool. I really like this hat. It's got so much swag on it. It's so cool. I may rock this hat again tonight. It's a good one. But she's got to get more hats. So the hat fund was funded, so we're going to get more hats for her. Finney Ferrister for 668 says, God, upon hearing LM likes demon YouTubers. Well, even the Bible says Satan is hot and likable, so what's the issue? Hey, listen. Listen, even Jesus was out there. I was listening to a thing on Paradise Regained by Wendigoon. Really good recap there. And it was about Jesus and Satan kind of talking in the wilderness. It was really funny. It makes the writing there, Milton's writing makes him not, I wouldn't say, you don't want to say like empathetic, but you want to say like he has a point of view, right? And you're like, you know what? You're making a good argument there. Satan is like, just allow the demon girls. Just let them slip in. And I'm like, okay, maybe. We're gonna compromise there. We need a lot of holy water. All right. Let me get this last part here. We want to reiterate, this has always been about the use of our model, nothing more. This is our original creative work, not the buyer's original creation. It doesn't make sense. You sold it to the buyer. You are free to express any views through your own content, own other models, voice, text, or any other medium. We fully support freedom of expression. We simply ask you do not use our model to create content that harms our brand or community. Managing how our own work is used is not the same as restricting anyone's freedom of expression. Please do not confuse the two. They're the same in application. To our creators, please do not let these comments discourage you. We stand behind every one of our users, and your right to enjoy Liz Meta is fully protected. They also continue to say here, we're updating our terms of service. And this is the wild stuff legally. I mean, this is the stuff that I went off on. Okay. Listen to this legal bullshit. That said, we are updating our terms of service to make these principles explicitly clear for everyone going forward. The updated terms will apply equally to all users, as is standard practice across digital platforms. That's not true. None of this stuff they're talking about is standard practice at all, especially for products. Continued use of the models will constitute acceptance. This is the part. Continued use of the model will constitute acceptance. That's not how acceptance works. Acceptance is an affirmative acceptance of this with something offered in exchange. This is not a service. They're not providing any other additional thing of value. So for these additional terms to come in after you've already sold a product, they would need to give them something extra because they've sold the product already. The product's already been sold. So at this point, for someone to come back and agree to that, they would need to give them something of value. So no, they cannot just have automatic acceptance happen by using the model. That doesn't work. That's not legal. No. We've addressed the specific situation privately and will not be discussing individual cases publicly. We are committed to supporting all creators use this meta in good faith. Thank you for being part of this community. Your trust means everything to us. And if you have any questions or concerns, our DMs are always open, Team Chalice. So here's their sins. They try to frame it as a service. It's not a service. It's a product. They claim some vague ongoing duty to the community. There's no duty to the community. At no point in you selling a product do you have what would be considered a legal duty to the community. You might feel like you have some sort of moral duty, but that moral duty cannot get in between the relationship of your existing contracts and partners and the orders that you've fulfilled. That moral duty can't supersede essentially your contracts. And yes, I said the term duty. You can't change the terms of service after the sale and then attempt to affect the sale. You can't attempt to redefine the word acceptance. You can't offer nothing in exchange for the new terms. And this is not standard practice. This is something that they are inventing and they are making up. And the fact of the matter is, there may be other VTubing model artists that are doing this. That doesn't mean it's okay. And what I am making this stream for is for the VTubing community to kind of get out here and say, this idea around models as a service is not a thing that's going to work. It's not a thing that's going to work. And it's not going to stand up the second anybody, let's say that somebody was big enough and had enough money and actually did take this to court. It's not going to stand up. It's a failed analysis on multiple points. It's inherently a product. Upon delivery of the model, exchange of value between the two is complete. Let me read here. Trickster Rad says, I love how they say it's your visual identity, your face online. But when people see it, it reflects on them. Which is it? Is it your face or is it theirs? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's your face. It's you saying it. It's not them saying it. And that's very clear. When someone sees it, they're not thinking, oh, the artist is a bigot. The artist of this must be a bigot. Crimson Splash is the odd solution to ignore Chalice. Sue me, baby. We'll get to that 1 second here. But yeah, that's definitely a solution here for anybody who has a problem with Chalice or any of these types of companies. He could give to 5 Legal Minds of memberships. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Sparky's Text Corner said, I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. Yes, that's essentially what they tried to pull here. So my judgment here was models should always be sold as a product. VTubers should never, ever, 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 ever buy from a company that attempts to set a limited license or frame a model as an ongoing service. That is smoking something that is unholy. Okay. That is absolutely it's off the deep end. And Chalice is in the wrong here 100% with the way they went down with this. If they had a problem with this VTuber, they got to take that up beforehand, right? Sorry, it's too late. You're done. Enforcement is going to be the ultimate barrier. And that's the biggest thing. Trying to recall a model is going to be financially and practically infeasible. And honestly, I'm going to tell you the way a judge would look at this, they would just tell you to pay damages. They would not order the model to stop use of the model. So a judge looking at this, even if this went to court, a judge would say, just pay them damages and keep the model, right? There'd be some sort of damage at worst, which wouldn't happen, by the way. It wouldn't happen. But even in a magical world in which Chalice won, the remedy would probably be just to pay the money. It would not be to go back, delete everything, stop use the model, right? And there's no brand agreement here. They're not an advertiser. Like, what are you worried that the people are going to think that you're supporting ICE? Like, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. So that's my take on that. I just wanted to get that out there. Let's see. JP Ravenmar said, most people don't even care who the artist of a model is. The only person using it. Exactly. Most people don't even know who it is. They don't even know. A limited license is trying to be rent. Yes, that's very true. It's trying to be true. Is that a Powdur I see? New waifu unlocked. Hey, I'm all for the elf waifus. I am all for the elf waifus. And she's had some base statements there. So maybe I've collected another VTuber into my potential elvish harem, which I'm collecting. I guess I'm collecting like an elvish VTuber harem here, which I think is fine. I like elves. I'm also loving all the free run posts right now. It's all good stuff. Also, okay, I can't show that one on YouTube. That would be bad. X is getting kind of spicy nowadays, guys. X is getting kind of spicy. But that said, guys, I'm going to be back with Somali stuff. I'm going to be back with a lot of other coverage I got to get to. And stick around because we're going to have the fast facts right after this. I'm going to have it instant premiere. So all of you guys will have that. Until then, guys, stay based. And all I know my haters will be coping and seething.
You are coping and seething. You just can't believe what you're seeing. It's you coping and seething. The truth it is all day, and now you are molding. You're coping so hard. Coping and seething. See